Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure where you're tuning in from, but I'm so excited to be live with you. This has been something that's been sitting on my heart for a bit, and I feel like it's time to really bring the conversation out into the open again and get real about business, intuition, higher guidance, and how you go out there and be the most successful version of you that you want to be. And this comes from a place of, and from someone who has now been in business over 11 years now and has seen such massive up and down in the coaching industry, just business in general. And from someone who has consulted with numerous companies in different industries, and there are so many things that remain true about success in those spaces. And what I really want to do is I want to share with you all of the things that I have learned about following your own path in business, about using your intuition, about allowing yourself to be soul called, and allowing yourself to just do what you want to do the way that you want to do it and have it be amazing, crazy, successful. And if you're new to me and you're like, who is this chick? I don't even know who you are. My name is Alexis Logan, and I am an unconventional success mentor. And I say unconventional because I've helped my clients to achieve results over the years that defies logic. That's like, this shouldn't be happening in this economy. This shouldn't be happening in this industry. These trends are not working for other people, but somehow they're working for your client. Like, how are you doing this, right? And it comes down to different things, but it comes down essentially to understanding how you orient to the work that you're here to do in the world. And what I mean by that is that we all, if you feel like you are a called person, what you're doing is a calling, what you're doing is like, man, I just can't get away from it. It's always coming to me. I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to trust my intuitive hits and I'm going to put myself out there. If you have a calling like that, there is an essence and an energy to what you are doing. And it kind of acts like this vortex, if you will. And I like to use the terminology of vortex because when you are in the creative space and when you are a creator, it's like everything that you are putting out, and as long as you aren't censoring it, you're giving it to the world, you're transmitting it the way that it wants to be put out in the world, right? You know, sometimes we get ideas and then we like walk them back because we're like, I don't know if that's going to be well received. I don't know if this is really going to work for me, or people are going to respond to this, or what if, you know, what happens if you are in any space in that, you're diluting your transmission. And so when you act from the most potent level that you can with your transmissions and what you're putting out there, people gravitate towards that. The people that you are here to serve gravitate toward that. They just latch onto it. And so you can't help but be successful because you're doing the thing. You know, you're doing the thing that you are feeling called to do. So when it comes to unconventional business and people really find their space and their place with the work that they're doing in their specific bodies of work, it moves people, it galvanizes people that you're here to serve. And so when you try to put that work into a conventional space or structure, sometimes the message gets diluted or the energy gets diluted or the original intention that you had for doing what you were doing gets shifted. And so then it affects the transmission and it affects how you show up and it affects how deeply connected you feel to your work. And I can share with you that I have had those same experiences over the years. Like, I've come up with some really amazing brands and ideas only to take them to mentors who basically were like, no one's going to buy that. Do you even have a market for that? Did you do your market research? Did you this and this? No, it came to me and I want to be able to put it out there and test it out. And have there been things that I put out that have flopped? Yes. But the number of things that have won versus have flopped greatly outweighs the flops. And I know why those things have flopped, right? I've been doing this for don't know how long now. And what I want to support you with, and this is no matter where you are in business, because excuse me, let me just tell you, I've seen people who I started out in business with just take off and shoot off and build these amazing big businesses only to crash several years later because it's not something I never wanted to build in the first place, but they just kept doing the thing because it was making money. And so they just went with it. But at the inside, it was really killing them. It just was like there's this shift, there's this thing that isn't really working anymore, right? Or maybe never really was working, but they did it because business success means certain things. And if you're not hitting those things, then who are you? If you've been in business several years now, you still haven't hit six figures, like, are you even a business owner? I mean, that's what we're saying to each other. That's what we're saying to each other in these days and times. That's how we're discrediting each other's value and worth and contribution that we could be making out here because we're looking at all of these factors of what creates a successful business out there that isn't necessarily the contribution that you're wanting to make from in here, right? And that's not to say that soul-based work, creative work, or anything like that cannot be wildly successful. I mean, look at all the companies out there that are wildly successful with their creative endeavors. But the one thing that remains very clear to me is that you will kill your creations and your bodies of work faster when you try to put them into conventional spaces that don't have parameters for how to support you to get your idea out there and allow it to be successful in very unconventional ways. And I think that this is something that we don't talk about enough, especially in the coaching industry, especially with healers and soul workers and creatives and people just, here to do business unusual. And I think that needs to stop for a number of reasons other than we're just killing people's dreams and killing people's souls at the same time with their dreams. And the other thing is that what we think we know about what creates a successful business isn't always great. I mean, think of the big companies that you hate to do business with, but you have to because they're the only option. They don't care about your customer experience, but nonetheless, you have to deal with that, right? So if you're getting into business, why create businesses that are like that or morph your business into that space? So I think when you are an entrepreneur, business owner, and you're looking for mentorship, and what you're doing is innovative and early adoptive. So if you think about the curve that you see a lot when, it's like that bell curve where people will see a new idea and then the time it takes for it to hit mainstream where majority of people have adopted it. If you are in the innovator, doing new stuff all the time, early adopter stage, like, oh, this is going to be great, I'm about to hop on this bandwagon right now, you have to do a lot of work around boundaries, around your own self belief and your own self esteem. That is one of the biggest, I would say, protective factors to keep your energy fresh, to keep your dreams intact, to keep your dreams alive, and to keep the soul of your business and the soul of your offerings alive. Because not everyone is going to get you, right? Not everyone is going to be like, oh, that's a cool kick-ass idea. Or, oh, I can see how that would work over here. Especially if you are one of the service providers called to serve people who are not similar to you. And this is how like you're able to walk into a room and talk about the work that you do with people who are not like you and don't have a background and don't have all these things, but somehow they just gravitate towards you, right? So, and they get on the bandwagon and with you and they're like, man, like this is amazing. Tell me more about it. And they're just people who are just different from you that you never thought would gravitate, like especially in those environments. The protective factors of self-belief, making sure that you are with someone who is supporting you in that way to continue to believe and build and do things your way. One of the things that I think a lot of people poo poo about intuition is that intuition is this sort of woo woo thing. And I don't like using the term woo woo, but is it sort of this woo woo thing that if you do not get an immediate result from it, means that it wasn't working, it's not going to work, and it's wishy-washy and you may get results and you may not get results. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And let's just be honest, for us who are in the work, for those of us in the work, you understand that intuition and timing can be a thing. It can be a real thing. And understanding how to navigate what is for now, what is for the future, what is for down the pike, and what is coming are all the nuances and are all the um, layers to working with intuition, that when you become masterful with using your intuition, intuitive guidance, and you become masterful with your manifestation process, and you become masterful with how you create, then you build confidence and self-esteem to be able to trust your intuitive knowing. And the other thing that I want to highlight in all of this is that there are a lot of people who are highly successful at big companies who are using their intuitive knowledge every single day and would say that they rely on their gut knowing to make their decisions. So, anytime that you are out here in these streets and you have mentors or coaches or whoever it is supporting you, and they're like, well, intuition isn't this, and you have to be do this, da, 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 da. Uh-uh. Because when you look at how they operate, 9 times out of 10, majority of them are going with their gut. They may have a lot of data in front of them that got collected. They may have a lot of research that may have been done, but those final decision factors come down to how they feel and what's speaking to them in the moment. And that's them being really co-creative with their intuition, higher guidance, however they want to relate to it, gut instinct, whatever, it's all the same thing. So when I talk about using intuition and using your manifestation process and understanding how to put everything together, the number one growth strategy in all of this is understanding that within you is the organizing principle called your intuition. When we think about how the universe works, how God works, and I was like, we don't know how God works. We don't know how God the universe. We don't know how the source works, but we do, because when you decide and you take an energetic position that you desire something, the universe responds to that signal, that frequency, and rearranges things for you to have what you desire. Intrinsically, manifestation, energy work, intuition, they're all a part of the big organizing principle that basically you communicate with through your frequency, energy, and intention, and through the reinforcement of your actions. And you create your own process for success when you honor and take action from that space. It is one of the most sophisticated systems to be a part of. And when you double down on being a student of your own creative process and how you best do what you do, you become masterful at it. You become a masterful manifester. And I know that manifestation and new age and the dilution of information, like, I get that. I get that there are people who are out there teaching BS. I get there are people who are out there and have done harm with this work. And I get that. But at the end of the day, you still have this resource within you. And the question becomes, how are you going to use it to your best benefit, not only for your business and the people that you serve, but also for how you're going to live your life, right? I've been working with a client. We just completed 4.5 months together, and it's been amazing to watch her take this and run with it, right? And we've had multiple conversations and so many things that I would want to share. But the main thing, we could be here all day, but the main thing that I want to convey to you is the shock and awe at times, right? And the delight of, I said this, I spoke this, I intended this, and within hours, within a few days, within a couple of weeks, this is all happening because she was no longer fighting herself. And she understood that the more that she leaned in to her connection with her soul, her inner knowing, the faster the outside of her life was going to get reorganized, right? And so a lot of the times that we think that we fear the loss of control, intuition isn't really clear, so I can't really I don't really get clear signals. Um, all the ways that you feel that this isn't for you or it's not going to work for you has a solution to it. So if you feel like, well, I've used my intuition before and it's never worked, or I only get bits and pieces, well, that's actually a sign that you need to lean into your connection to cut through the spiritual static. You just need more practice. Well, intuition doesn't give you like full instructions. I don't get full instructions. I don't get big plans. Have you been asking for it? Have you been making requests? Can you please give this to me in a way that I can fully receive, fully hear? What do I need to do within myself to be a clear channel for the information that's coming to me? What do I need to do to allow for more to move through and to really be on board, in alignment, whatever, that feeling is to you, get on the same frequency to fully receive what you are giving me in the moment, right? So there is that initial part of getting the downloads. And this helps you to center yourself into what you are creating. I've made this mistake so many times with my own lack of understanding in the beginning of how do I get the information and it gets out into the world and then the results happen. The biggest piece to me really being on board with this and working through my own issues that I've had with this to allow some really amazing things to happen and to allow my life to be organized to the highest outcomes that I've been wanting and desiring and just wanting to, have, has been to calm down. Oops. Has been to settle in. Has been to allow myself to be seated, not only in the energy of what's calling to me, but also to be seated that what was calling to me was bigger to me, bigger than I thought it was going to be, bigger to me and just in general. And to keep myself from feeling disconnected from what was happening, I needed to lean in more. I needed to sit with it. I needed to seat myself on that throne of whatever the offering was in a way. And I think that when we don't take the time for stillness or we don't take the time out and we sort of treat our intuition like that booty call, I'm just going to go ahead and get this real quick and I'm going to go out here and, change my life and whatnot. This is a co-creative relationship. And that's another reason why people are like, oh, it didn't work for me. No, it didn't work for you because you treated it like a booty call and you didn't establish a full relationship. You not only did you not establish a full relationship, you used it one time and you're out here spouting about how you gotta be, in give it 90 days, give it this before something works and you poo-poo it in business. But you're only giving your intuition one opportunity to impress you. Like, what kind of sense does that make? What kind of sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. You need to give yourself the best chance to win. And the best chance to win is always in the relationship, in the connection, and in the allowance that you have an amazing, brilliant, knowledgeable aspect that is always trying to talk to you, to support you in all of your dreams and ambitions, and give you your specific path for achieving the outcomes. A lot of people have asked me, Alexis, how are you able to turn things around on a dime? How are you able to just do what you do? I don't understand it. I listen and I do. You listen and you take action, right? You develop those strengths and that trust. And when you get on path with the thing that you're supposed to create, with the plan and the steps back to back to back to back to back, that creates momentum and acceleration. And when you hit it and you don't delay, because listen, we all get ideas and then we don't ever act on them until the last minute when we're, with our backs up against the wall and we've got to create change, which we have to learn how to get out of in general. I have another sermon on that, not right now. But when you allow to be in the momentum and the timing of what is showing up, that is you moving in flow. That is you moving in flow. A lot of times we think we can control flow. You cannot control flow. The only thing that you can control is you and how you decide to move or not move, while taking responsibility for understanding that if you drag your feet with what was given to you, your results are going to be a little wonky until you get into flow with it. And these are all acceleration factors that if you want things to happen with speed, or if you want things to really take off and move with it, you have to steep yourself in the energy of that flow and be attuned to what needs to happen at what time. And you will receive everything that you need. And one of the things that people feel a lot is, well, I only have the first one or two steps. Yes, because right now, within your capacity of what you are called to create, you can only take care of step one and two, just one and two. And when you get through one and two, three will show up and four will show up. But moving with co-creation is like moving with a physical business partner, right? Like you can only go and do what you're doing in tandem with your business partner. So why would you treat this co-creative force any different? It's not different. The only thing that is different is that there isn't a tangible physical outcome immediately sometimes. And that little walk to, okay, I gotta walk this and I might have to walk it alone for a while. Or I might have to like carry this because people don't see it yet. They're kind of on board, but they don't see it yet. But I just need to carry this, right? Those little tiny steps of faith and belief is what makes it real. It's what brings it in. It's what allows you to show up. And when you have a track record of amazing things are popping off and happening, and it doesn't even matter in what area of your life it's happening in. Because if you have something pop off in one area of your life, then you are going to, it's the same muscles to get it to pop off in the areas of life that you want it to. Because how you're doing this thing over here is not going to be different than how you're doing this thing over here. There might be a couple of different layers to it, but the principles are the same. And so I want you, if you take nothing else away from our time together today, I want you to step in. I want you to lean in. I want you to allow what is for you to accelerate you and to stop holding back on yourself and to stop giving up your dreams and your inner knowing and your understanding for someone who's not walking the path that you're walking. They may able have to create something similar to what you are wanting, but they're not walking the same path. They're not walking the same path. Only you can walk your path, and they're contributing to it, or at least they should be. So if you have mentorship or a coach, and every time you get off the calls, you're just drained and you're like, man, I'm just not feeling seen, I'm not feeling heard, I'm not feeling reinforced around this. Not that you necessarily need that, but we hire mentors and coaches to support us and also to affirm what we're doing on the inside and also kick our ass to get it done on the outside, right? You're in this cosmic soup, putting this together, but you are the leader of your own creations. You have to be. You can't abdicate that role to anyone else. You can't give that responsibility to the people or the coaches or programs that you're in. So you have to hold it and be comfortable holding it and understanding that there is magic within you that is being called forward for you to put out there that which you are being called to do. And so that is your bucket or water to hold as you are receiving support from the outside. But the thing is this, if what is coming from the outside is not supporting you, is not helping you, is not helping you to figure out how to shape what you're doing that holds the integrity, energy, original intention of the vision that you are feeling is resonating within you, that is going to stagnate you like that. That is going to keep you from moving forward. A lot of times when people see accelerated growth just by listening to their intuition, they don't understand that the tapestry of and creation that they're creating requires that back and forth in that co-creative force, right? So trusting yourself and knowing what you need to do, following it up with aligned action, surrounding yourself by mentors, coaches, and programs that are going to help to extract that from you. To say, okay, it sounds like you've got this going on. Here are some things. Here are some other things to consider, right? And then you take that information within you and you go, are any of these things that I'm asked to be taken to consider, are any of these viable options for how you want to get into the world? When you are working with intuition and co-creative energy, it is its own energy. It's got its own vision. It's kind of like having a baby. Like once that baby is out of you, they've got their own personality. They're here to do whatever they're supposed to do. The same thing with your offerings. Same thing. So why not ask the offering what it needs to get out there, what it needs to support it, what it needs for you to do daily to grow it, what it needs for you to do to expand it, right? It's got its own energy and it'll take care of its own stuff that needs to take care of, but then there's your responsibility in this. And I think as an artist, when you talk to artists and you talk to creatives and they're talking about their creative process and they're moving with the energy of what is moving within them, right? It's very much that back and forth. They're in the zone, they're receiving, they're doing, they're going back and forth with the energy, they're co-creating with it, right? So if you have that sort of artist entrepreneur archetype or that creative entrepreneur archetype within you, how you go about moving, developing your offerings, how you go about creating a relationship and marketing out in the marketplace, right? Same principle. Same principle as you co-creating and delivering your service that you're doing or the product or whatever it is. You're moving with it. Everything that you are given in this world, from divine downloads to, those just intuitive conversations that you're having with your guides or anything like that. Everything that you're given has its own way to be fulfilled. It's already given there. I do a lot of work with my clients around understanding that the blueprints that they are looking for to bring idea outside into creation are already within them. Just listen for the answer. Look at all the material that you have to work with, from business structure to business models to ways of marketing to how to show up to your own intrinsic gifts and talents. Look at it all the raw material that you have, and then look at the blueprint. And that blueprint is going to tell you which pieces to pull from and how to develop it and how to put it out there. One of the things that I love to do with my clients in individual sessions is ask really big questions. Like, if you were fully willing to allow your creation to come out in the world as it is, what would you be doing differently? If you were willing to be the biggest version of yourself that is leading this company and this vision out in the world, what would you be doing differently? If you weren't in doubt, and you weren't in fear, what would you actually be transmitting out into the world? And when you can tune in at that level, and when you can tune in and allow, all of your answers start to auto-populate, just like you asking a question in ChatGPT. You get the answer that you're looking for. I don't know if you've looked around lately in nature. It's just becoming spring here in Virginia, in the US. And unless a tree is dead, the tree is coming back to life. The tree ain't going to be thinking, I'm only going to come half back to life. Usually when thing doesn't come back to life, it's because it's dead. Okay? And if you were being giving something, why is not the way for it to bloom within it? When we talk about planting seeds in gardens, and from a little seed, these massive plants grow. Those seeds have everything within it to grow, and when put in the proper environment, do grow. I hope you caught that. The seed has everything within it to grow, and when put in the proper environment to grow, it grows. You are the seed. You have everything within you. You have all the codes. You have all the blueprints. It's a matter of extraction. It's a matter of sitting with it. It's a matter of understanding how you work and becoming a student of your own process. And then making sure that you are in an environment where you grow, where you're being fed what you need so that you can show up for the things that are going around your beautiful brain, brilliant brain of yours, wanting to get out in the world. So I hope that wherever you are on your journey, just starting out, really getting things going, more established, been in business many, many years now. No matter where you are on your journey with your intuition and knowing and your awakening process and how you do your magic and how intuition works in business, okay? No matter where you are in that process, that you remember the elements of what you're here to do, what you're here to create. And anytime that you get off track, anytime that you feel, oh, this is not where I want to be, come back to the fact that you're the seed and the blueprint's already within you. And if you're listening to this and this is calling to you and you're like, I have no idea how to do the extraction or how to work in a co-creative process. I just know I get these downloads and then I kind of figure out how to move with them. DM me. I have a couple of different ways of working with entrepreneurs in this way, and at all different price points, by the way, that will allow you to be fed and to get frameworks and to be deeply supported, no matter what you choose, in this process of your own self-mastery, of your own creative process. Because one of the things that I'm so passionate about, we talk about innovation, and we talk about doing things differently, and we talk about being different from everybody else. But then we get into programs that push us out like cookie cutters to look like everybody else. But when you understand what you're here to do, how you're here to live, the work that you're here to do with people, and you double down on the way to do that work and really put yourself out there, allow yourself to grow and to move with everything that you are creating, magic happens. You become more masterful. You feel better about who you are. You understand that you've always walked with power. And there's nothing outside of you that is more worthy, greater, more important than you. You are already enough. And I hope that this supported you today. And I hope you continue to be unconventional. And I hope that you allow yourself to see just how magnificent you are. Have a good day.